I've made a bunch of videos lately talking about the Haiku operating system, even going so far as to say you could daily drive it. Well, it's time to put my enthusiasm to the test because I'm going away for a week and the only modern laptop I'm bringing is going to run Haiku. This should be interesting, so stay tuned. And if you enjoy living on the bleeding edge of 1990s operating system aesthetics, I hope you'll consider subscribing to the channel. In one of my last videos on Haiku, I was talking about how I wanted to go into a store and buy a new laptop and just run Haiku on it and see how well it does. So I recently went into my local micro center and picked up this ThinkPad X1 Carbon Whiskey Lake. Compatibility on Haiku with brand new hardware can be a bit hit or miss, but I've read that these X1 Carbons tend to work great. And this one is almost fully compatible. Almost. And there is no other operating system on here. It's not dual booting Ubuntu. I stripped the Windows 10 off of here right when I got home. So let me give you a quick tour of my Haiku install on here, and then we're gonna hit the road. So these ThinkPad X1 Carbons are really wonderful machines. This one has an i7-8665U at 2.10 gigahertz, 16 gigs of RAM, and yeah, it is super thin and light. I love the textured finish on it, doesn't pick up fingerprints. It has USB-C charging, another USB-C port, and some kind of Ethernet connector that I don't understand. USB 3, HDMI, audio jack, which I love. On the other side, power button and another USB-A port. And that's it for the connectivity. The ThinkPad has your touch track point sensor and a touchpad as you would expect. Fingerprint reader. That of course doesn't work with Haiku. And a very nice display. And honestly, I was surprised at how many things work in Haiku out of the box on this thing. Wi-Fi works out of the box, the battery works, the speakers work, volume keys work, headphone jack works, HDMI works, all the USB ports work. The frickin' touchscreen works in Haiku. How funny is that? It must just show up to Haiku like a USB pointing device. Okay, now onto the things that don't work. There's two extremely annoying things that don't work. One, the touchpad doesn't work. The track point does work, so it's not the end of the world. Much worse, however, is that the display driver doesn't work. This thing is running in frame buffer mode, and the big drawback there is that screen brightness is not controllable. Older Intel displays work just fine in Haiku, have full brightness control, different resolutions and stuff. But this display can't change the resolution, can't change the brightness. So until they fix that, you can live with it. It's just definitely not ideal. And I spent some time customizing the look and feel of Haiku as well. There is no built-in dark mode, but I have under preferences just kind of set up my own dark theme with different colors. It's pretty good. I wish there was a built-in dark mode, and I also wish there was a way to save this. Maybe there is that I don't know about, but for now, I'm just going to write down the colors that I chose so I can reset this up if I have to. As far as software goes, I've installed a lot of stuff from the Haiku Depot. Of course, we have the Falcon web browser, which we covered in a previous video. I've also installed a bunch of games to keep me busy. Fregato and Friends is a pretty fun game that's in the repository. Just a very pretty platformer. But what I've really spent a lot of time doing is playing Pokemon ROM hacks with MGBA, which is also available in Haiku Depot. And since the headphone jack does work, I have two pairs of headphones and a headphone splitter, so my wife and I can both watch Doctor Who on our 4 separate flights. So yeah, I have high hopes for using Haiku as my one and only sole daily driver for this week-long trip out to VCF SoCal. So let's hit the road. So I spent a wonderfully warm week in Orange County, California at VCF SoCal, which was this past Saturday and Sunday at the lovely Hotel Farrah. We made a nice week-long vacation out of it, escaping the February freezing temperatures in Pennsylvania for 70-degree days, with only a bit of jet lag. And I really did bring the Haiku ThinkPad as my only modern computer. And not to bury the lead too much, but it performed wonderfully. I used it on the flight over to play Pokemon ROM hacks in MGBA, and I was able to connect to the hotel's captive Wi-Fi with no issues at all. I even got some work done on scripts in LibreOffice. Oh wow, this is pretty meta. Wait a minute, is he about to type a sponsor segment? Here's a quick word about today's sponsor, Harry's. You know, I've actually been a Harry's customer for the better part of a decade now. This face doesn't silky smooth itself, and I actually usually buy my Harry's stuff in store at Target. And you know what? I'm actually running out of my favorite shave gel. Smells so good. So let's go out to the store. Ah, my local Target, I know ye well. And they always have a nice selection of Harry's goodies in stock. Look at all these different handles they have now. Sage, Ocean, Ember, and this fancy looking craft handle. And even though I already have the Truman handle, oh look, B-roll of me shaving with it, which is a two-tone handle with weighted core and textured grip that I love. I'm gonna pick this bad boy up. The craft handle is the highest quality handle yet, with dotted rubberized grip integrated into a smooth metallic handle holding your favorite Harry's 5-blade razor cartridge. Weighty and contoured. And look at all this other Harry stuff that Target has now. Face lotions, hydrating night lotion, eye cream, face toner. Man, it's so convenient to be able to run down to Target down the street and pick up the Harry's shaving stuff I need. So make sure you check out Harry's the next time you're at your local Target and let me know which one you pick up. And thanks to Harry's for sponsoring this video. VCF SoCal itself was an absolute blast. The organizers did a wonderful job. Hard to believe it was their first VCF. There was a big turnout and a ton of excellent displays. I love this Atari audio visualizer, which I think worked by broadcasting the visualizer to nearby TVs who could tune in. There was even a TV in consignment tuned into this signal. There was a showing of quite cool Amiga stuff, and another exhibit was even running Haiku. Way too much cool stuff to cover in this one video. My booth was all about Apple Rhapsody. I had the DR2 release running on a ThinkPad, a Toshiba Libretto, and a PowerBook G3 Kanga. Most people were pretty surprised to see the same version of an Apple OS running on both 90s PCs and a 90s Macintosh. And I met a lot of you all there, which was really incredible. I love hearing your stories about your computing memories, your collections, and nostalgia. And quite a few of you jokingly asked why I wasn't showing off anything running Haiku, to which I, of course, whipped out the ThinkPad. All in all, it was a wonderful time. And I really have to say that daily driving Haiku while I was there pretty much just worked. I didn't miss not having Linux or macOS at all. Not once. I did everything I wanted to do online with Falcon, which is a Chromium-based web browser, so it tended to just work. I maintained my Mastodon server, watched YouTube. I even checked into our flights with no issues. Well, tabs crashed a few times, but a quick refresh would bring them right back. And there were a few other negatives. I think battery life was a bit worse than you would expect with Windows or even an optimized Linux install. I only got maybe 4 or 5 hours running MGBA on the plane. And the lack of screen brightness control really bugged me, especially on the late night flight home. I wish I could have dimmed it. But the X1 Carbon screen is really good, and the brightness it defaults to was pretty readable in almost every lighting condition. I think I'm going to keep Haiku as the sole operating system on this ThinkPad, and it's going to be my go-to couch machine and travel computer. There's really nothing I couldn't do on Haiku, honestly. It was a joy to use. It's simple, friendly, fast, and has the world's most appealing user interface, at least in my opinion. Anyway, I've covered haiku a lot lately, and it's because I'm really passionate about this OS. And it's absolutely warmed my heart to see people posting on the haiku forums saying that they've checked it out for the first time after seeing it in one of these videos. So I hope I've inspired you to check it out, maybe install it on an old PC, or even try it in a virtual machine. And if you happen to have some programming chops, maybe you'll even consider contributing to the project and maybe writing a driver for my ThinkPad's Whiskey Lake graphics. In any event, I'll leave you today with some scenes from VCF SoCal. If you've enjoyed today's video, I hope you'll consider subscribing, and as always, thank you so much for watching. And a special thanks to Alex Hoffman 1, Alex Hoffman 2, Andrew Nicholson, April White, Chris Biggs, Chris Calderon, Chris Nelson, Control-Alt-Reese, Daniel Hubbard, Eric Shields, Frodo Jedi, Gaspar Heller, George F. Rosansky, Greg from Prutgame Mods, James Fryman, James Laurie, Jason Papaz, Jason Zell, Camille Rakowski, Lyle Truid, Matthew Crowell, Paul Spencer, Ryan, Scott Cedarbaum, Scott Thompson, Tom Woodfin, Unknown Soldier 41, who are my highest tiered patrons, and all of my Patreon supporters for helping to make these videos possible.